All right, we should officially be live. Hey guys, I'm going to give everybody a minute to hop on. Say hi to Robin and
Hello.
let us know where you're watching from. I'm sure we've got
The
lots
office
of.
parking lot.
I know. So before we started, I was chatting with Robin. I'm like, "Are you safe where you are?" Because she's in her office parking lot in her car. She says, "Yes, there's security around. She's good." So, yeah. All right. Well, you know what? We're going to go ahead and kick this thing off. So, those of you that are catching a few of my lives, you are seeing that I have been interviewing just some of the precious people that have trusted me in this journey. And I know you guys have watched my story for quite some time, and you've heard that I love Thrive and why I love Thrive. And I just think it's so important for you guys to hear other people's stories and celebrate with them. And I think all of us bring a little something different to the table when it comes to our personal stories. I mean, the main three things that people always rave about is, they're telling you to lock your doors. Her doors are locked. We already went
They
through
are.
that deal.
We did that. Check.
We did. Yeah. No, but the main three things that people rave about with Thrive is better energy throughout the day, better sleep of night, and then managing discomfort. But honestly, this whole Thrive thing goes so far beyond all of that, even. There's definitely something to giving your body what it needs every single day, fueling your body with premium nutrition, bridging your nutritional gaps. I think we forget how important our vitamins and minerals and antioxidants and pre and probiotics and digestive enzymes are to the human body. I feel like, over the last year and a half, I think people are starting to be a little bit more aware. If you haven't Googled gut health and discovered yet that your gut is your second brain, like I want to challenge you guys to do that, because that's also a huge thing that Thrive manages for you and takes care of for you. So just a little bit of background. Robin and I knew each other back when I lived in Bridgeport. So we've probably known each other almost 20 years because
Yep.
well, yeah, Jaden is 20 now, so
Yeah.
it's been at least around 19ish. And anyway, obviously did some life together there. And then when we moved to West Texas, we were connected via Facebook, and she had watched me for quite a while. And if you guys didn't notice, so I was able to set like a little reminder of like when I was going to go live today, and I titled this because health really is wealth. And Robin didn't reach out to me for herself. She actually reached out to me because her husband had so many health challenges at the time. Now, you guys know we don't make medical claims. This is not intended to treat, cure, whatever, any of the things. But our bodies need premium nutrition, and
Yep.
there's so many things that basically, when you get down to the root cause, then those things are affecting so many different things in health. So, Robin has an amazing story of her own, but really, she reached out because she was desperate for something for her husband. So, Robin, if you would just kind of give everybody a little bit of a background as to who you are. And the reason she's sitting in the car is because it's end of month. She's the accountant of the group, the accounting brain, the one that handles all the things, and it's end of the month, and she's having a long day. So thank you, Robin, for being able to be on with us tonight. And yeah, tell us a little bit about what you were doing before and where you were.
All right. So thank you for having me, first of all. I am just turned 57 years old and have been thriving for about 6 years. I am Robin Hicks. I am from Bridgeport. I am married for a long time, and I have two daughters and one bonus daughter, and we have four grandkids. So the fact that I am keeping up with all of those and 57 are not created equal. But Yeah. So I don't know if you remember, Maria, but in November of 2013, you reached out to me, and I
Oh,
actually ordered. I actually ordered, and I actually let it sit on the counter, and then I actually put it in the shelf, and I actually didn't do anything with it. I'm one of those people. But yes, I did
okay,
reach out.
anyone else, if you have Thrive in your house, my brand new promoter, same story. Like it sat, I'm pretty sure she just took, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but this has to be addressed. Like, I'm pretty sure she just started expired Thrive. Like, we have a 3-year shelf life, and I'm pretty sure that she started Thrive with expired Thrive. But she's like, oh my gosh, I've lost 5 pounds in 2 weeks. I guess I'm going to do this Thrive thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, yeah, let's go. But it's going to be amazing to see what happens when your Thrive isn't expired. So if you have someone that has, yeah, if
unexpired
you have
products.
Thrive in your closet and a cabinet, it's so funny. And by the way, don't ever throw it away. Like send it back to the person that gave it to you, because then when you're ready, you can start again. But okay, Robin, I'm sorry. I had to give you a little bit of a hard time,
Totally
and also reach out to the others that are doing the same
Yes,
thing.
you have every right. So yes, fast forward many months. Scott had a procedure that left him sick. He ended up having 4 in weeks, and he many procedures. And then fast forward from there 5 weeks out or 5 months out, right? So he did nothing but just lie on the couch or lie in bed. I had to help him to and from the living room, to and from the kitchen, to and from the bathroom, had to help him bathe. And so he literally just existed. I mean, it was no life. It wasn't anything good. And yes, I had been watching you and Susan, and for a long time, and I was like, well, they're feeling good. I just wonder, what if, the big what if. So I reached out, and you had actually been seeing some of my comments, because I'd say, oh, look who got up today, would be out by the pool or something. And you had said that you and it's like, I've got to do something about Scott. We've got to do something. And not only that, not only getting Scott right, but he had been off for so many months. We flew through our savings, and I needed something to supplement my income. I make a pretty good living as an accountant, but we grew accustomed to 2 incomes, and we had to do something about that. And so when I reached out, it wasn't so much about the financial side as the physical side for him. And so you told me, and I'll never forget this, is you said, girl, you need to get him thriving, because the probiotics and this stuff will help his gut, and it will help. You'll see, believe me. And so because I didn't have the money right then, and I waited for the very next check and ordered for both of us, because I needed it too. I was flat out exhausted, working corporate America, running back and forth to medical, appointments for him, and still raising a child at home, and the grand. I think I had 1 grand at that time, maybe 2. And while I was doing all that, I was tired, and even when I went to bed, I couldn't sleep. Stuff would go through my head. It would just run. Wouldn't stop. When it came in, we started the very next day, and you I don't know if I told you how fast he felt it. He felt it within like 40 minutes. And he goes, and Bridgeport, the blasting and stuff. He goes, did you feel that? And I automatically assumed he was talking about the rock crushers blasting. No, I didn't feel anything. And he goes, no, really, did you feel that? And I said, I don't feel anything. What are you talking about? And he's like, I actually feel something. And from May to September, he hadn't done anything, right? So he got up and he literally vacuumed the area rug in the living room. Not a lot for me, not a lot for you, but for him it was huge, because he had not done anything. About 4 or 5 days later, he was he would get up and do stuff himself. But this day, he went to out to the mailbox, and you know how close I live to Kate Street, 20 yards outside the front door. Now, I had been helping him walk everywhere, right? So he was able to go out there and back all on his own. Again, that's not a lot for you and me because that's something that we do all the time. But for him, having not done anything in 5 months, it was huge.
Mm-hmm.
About 10 days in, 10 to 14 days in, we tried walking around the block, which you know where I live. But if I walked around the block I'm talking about, I would have been right down there by your little house that you used to live in. But we didn't make it. We did not make it around that block. And I sat him down on that school parking lot, little iron fence there, and I said, "Don't move." So I ran home, and I didn't really notice anything until that night. Excuse me. Um, when I had run all that way, and while I used to be an athlete, it's not. I did something to my light. Hold on. I don't know what it did. Can you still see me? I'll get up here.
Yeah, I can now.
So anyway, I ran home and I noticed that night. I went and picked him up, came back. We didn't make it around the block, but I noticed that night that my bad basketball knee had not. It didn't like give out, and it wasn't hurting. But then I noticed, that I didn't freak out over the whole situation, and I also noticed that the next morning that, oh my gosh, I'm sleeping. For somebody in my field, could be any field. If you let stuff get to you, I usually go to bed and could be 2 hours before I'm asleep. I'd toss and turn. And I was telling Ariel last night that I would flip and flop, front side, back, other side, and I called it the ABCD method. And if I made it all the way around in an hour, it was time for me to get up and do something else. So prior to Thrive, I may get up in the middle of the night and train somebody in Dubai, or I may get up in the middle of the night and start working on some of my stuff again. But it was always work related. And then I would just try and get my brain tired so that it would go to sleep. These days, and since thriving, I'm so focused during the day that when I do get ready to go to sleep, my brain's ready to go to sleep too.
Mm-hmm.
So it keeps me so focused, whether I've got an 8-hour day or I've got a 20-hour day, which is, kind of like these days. It keeps me so focused that during the day that when I get home and I'm ready to go to sleep, it's tired too. My brain is tired too. But other than that, the energy, oh my gosh, I used to phone home. I would phone a friend if I was coming home at 2:00 in the morning. And I'd say, "Hey, keep me awake. I'm on my way home. An hour. What have you got to do for an hour? Just keep me awake." And so that girl's thriving with me. She's glad I'm thriving.
You've got good friends. If you can just call them at 2 in the morning and be like, "Hey."
Yeah.
That's a good friend.
I've known her probably 40 years.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'd call her. I don't have to do that anymore. It keeps me, when I'm awake. And when I'm ready to sleep, I put my head on the pillow and I'm out in minutes, not hours. But the other thing I noticed, and I was telling the little Ariel last night, we were talking, and my basketball knee I told you about earlier. I am playing basketball with my grands, and something happened the other day. And Hayden, my oldest, he told me, he goes, "Grammy, this is what's going to get me, Mauria." He said, "Grammy, I'm glad you're not one of those grandparents that sit on the couch and gripe all the time." Oh. And then the second thing he said was, he had seen me play, and we were picking teams to play out in the front. And he goes, "Grammy's on my team." And for him to want Grammy on his team, it made me feel so good, and my heart just pounds because I think that's so neat. What 11-year-old, almost 12-year-old wants their 57-year-old grandma on his team. But as far as Scott, he's working circles around all of the guys in the oil field. He's out in the elements. Mauria, they told us when he was so sick, he would not even feel like going to work for a year because of the the number of procedures he had and the number of times he got put out. I think that had something to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
But until we got his gut right, we didn't do anything until we got his gut right. His gut didn't get right just by doctors. His gut got right months after all of that when we started thriving. It took a bit, and we're still doing it. We can still feel everything working for us. And I just thank you for being honest with me and asking me to trust you and telling me to believe, and I love it. I still love it to this day. And, this black label keeps everybody around me safe.
Especially now, right?
Yes.
So we're always, y'all, if you want to know why we love Black Label so much, Google 5-HTP, mood support. And it also has B12, so it's got a little energy component to it too. But yeah, it's honestly one of all of our favorites. But you can kind of customize your DFT as to however you want it. But Robin, you're so sweet. Thank you so much for coming on here. And the reality is, and basically this is what I've told her, and I tell all of you, we don't know what it's going to do for you. It's just, you've got to get it in your body. And that is, at the end of the day, like, that is where you're going to know. Now, you can't expect a miracle to happen overnight. It's not going to be just an immediate change. You have to be consistent with it. But I'm telling you, premium nutrition consistently over time, and you will absolutely fall in love with it, because these are truly vitamins that you can feel, and you can't put a price tag, y'all, on how you feel. It affects every single thing that you do. So, Robin, I'm glad you stayed safe. The security didn't come and knock on your door wondering why you've got a ring light in your car.
I'm still looking.
All right. Well, we'll hop off here. But guys, thank y'all so much for hopping on. If you happen to be catching the replay, let us know that you're watching the replay. And again, safe travels home, Robin. We love you. Thank you so much for being on.
Love you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.